Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast. Patriot Unfiltered.
Mr. President, in 1887, Lord Acton wrote a series of letters to Bishop Creighton. Letters that would echo down across the centuries. Lord Acton wrote, "I cannot accept your canon that we are to judge Pope and King unlike other men, with a favorable presumption that they did no wrong. If there is any presumption, it is the other way, against holders of power, increasing as the power increases. Historic responsibility has to make up for the want of legal responsibility. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men are almost exclusively bad men, even where they exercise influence and not authority. Still more, when you superadd the tendency or the certainty of corruption by authority." Mr. President, those words were true in 1887, and they're true today. If you want to understand how power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, look no further than the other chamber in the United States Capitol. Speaker Nancy Pelosi is drunk on power. The orders that Speaker Pelosi is issuing are abusive and unprecedented. Speaker Pelosi has decreed to members of the House of Representatives elected by the people that if you dare walk onto the floor of the House of Representatives without a mask, I, Speaker Pelosi, shall fine you. Who the hell is she?
Right. Who the hell does she think she is? That was Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, literally giving a speech a few days ago on the Senate floor on the abuse of power of Speaker Pelosi. And let me say something here as I start the show, guys. What Speaker Pelosi is doing to not only Senate members as well as House members is completely wrong. She is now saying that anybody that stops wearing masks on the Senate floor and also in the other chambers of Congress will be fully arrested on spot. Who the hell does this woman think she is? I agree with Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. This woman is drunk on power. She's an elderly woman that's been in government for so long that she thinks that she can do whatever the hell she damn well pleases. And that's not how it works, folks. That's not how it works. I said time after time, this is one of the reasons why term limits need to be implemented in Congress and the rest of federal government agencies and officials need to be put on term limits, because when they reach a certain limit of this type of power, it gets to their head, folks. Literally. Also, Don't get me started with the CDC. What the CDC, folks, is doing is they're corrupting science with politics. And frankly, that's wrong. And it's time for the United States Senate and the United States House to stand on the side of the American people, to stand on the side of freedom. Senator Cruz also declared that at the end of his speech, which you could watch the full speech if you follow Breitbart, which is I'm a big fan of Breitbart. I write and I read a lot of their content on their site. Breitbart is a phenomenal conservative site, and I think that's the only type of source I get most of my information from is Breitbart. No, I don't steal their content, but I reflect on it. I reflect a lot on it because they're right. Senator Ted Cruz is right. What we are seeing, not only from the CDC, but from certain Senate and House members, mainly on the Democratic side, a few bad eggs in the apple there on the Republican side, is a form of absolute and complete abuse of power. Even House Speaker Pelosi has no authority, folks, to disrespect the men and women who work there every day with threats, even some physical harm, to threaten a man or a woman on the Senate floor or anywhere in the Capitol with threats of imprisonment. It's wrong. Folks, Pelosi is, you understand what she's getting by here. Pelosi is only doing this for political theater. Literally. She can care less about mass. We all heard last year the so-called Chinatown incident, right? Remember when she went to San Francisco Chinatown and you know who was in office? President Trump, which God willing, we need him back more than ever, was in office. And she's literally saying, oh, President Trump is wrong. Go down to Chinatown and socialize with one another. COVID is it's hyped up. Oh, now it's not hyped up because the other party is in power and it doesn't fit their narrative. Folks, this is like a tippy-toe type of scenario. Literally. A tippy-toe scenario. What more do we have to deal with? What more do we have to deal with? This is terrible. Literally terrible. In other news, oh, you got to see this, folks. In other news, I'm going to go through a lot of different type of hot topics this week because this is going to be like a recap of the week's top news stories. Which is here's a big one, folks. A real big one. You're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to take a quick little break and I'm going to get into this report here that even probably mainstream media isn't even touching on. You got to listen to this, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these words.
I was born on the 4th of July. Grew some wings and learned to fly. Got a wind on my back just like I like. I said simplify. Don't know where to go.
Ready to simplify life with diabetes? Get started today with a free 30-day Omnipod DASH trial. Go to omnipod.com/free for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplify life. Omnipod.
The Patriot Angle Podcast on demand.
Hey, folks, we're back here on the show. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope Hope everybody's enjoying their week. Also, hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's podcast. Got some good feedback on that podcast. Well received. And hope everybody enjoyed the podcast on Wednesday. Had 420 VIPs from New Jersey join us on the show. It was a really, really good show. Good hour, 25-minute show. Normally don't do long shows like that, but those guys deserve it. They have a phenomenal base there in New Jersey. They do a lot of different types of things in New Jersey. They have a lot of different types of organizations they get involved with, including music groups. They just about everything. Really had a fun time talking to them, and I was really glad that they came back again on the show. Had them back in what was it, March or April? I believe it was March. You got to look at it. I believe March, yes. The first time on my show, and decided to welcome them back because they're really a good set of guys. Tom and Robert there in New Jersey that handle 420 VIPs, and looking forward to having them on my show in October. Yes, I'll be in New Jersey in October, guys, for a podcast Twitch show in New Jersey with 420 VIPs. So looking forward to that in October. We still have a ways to go for that show, but figured I'd plug it in now to get everybody excited for that show. It will be live on Twitch in October, so look out for that show on Twitch. With that being said, guys, I want to get into a poll here, a poll, literally. I think everybody should know this by now, which is very strange that you're not hearing this on CNN. What the hell am I saying? It's not strange at all because they don't report on it. They report on lots of different things. They don't report on the true, accurate news because they're crooked. Crooked CNN, that's what I call them. That's what they stand for. Crooked News Network. Yeah, crooked CNN. A new poll coming up here. That murders, folks, are now up to 16% across all major U.S. cities. Just this year alone, in 2021. Murder, folks, has increased 16% across major U.S. cities during the first half of 2021. No kidding. No kidding. I can tell you why it's getting to that scenario. But let me read more into this segment here. It rose up to 16%, folks, in a lot of different U.S. cities during the first half of 2021 when compared to the same period in 2020, and by 42% when compared to 2019, according to a Thursday update to the Council on Criminal Justice Pandemic Crime Report. There were 259 more homicides in the first half of 2021 when compared to the first half of 2020, and 548 more when compared to the first half of 2019, the study finds. Now everybody's going to question it, and they're going to say, well, was there more homicides during the Trump administration or during the Biden administration? Well, it seems like it's going more up with the Biden administration. And if you ask him or any of his administration, if you come across to being a reporter or whatnot, and ask him what he plans on doing it, or planning on how to handle the situation, he'll look at you with 5 different heads. Well, we gotta see what's gonna happen. That's delusional Joe for you, folks. This report updates a study, literally, that went on for the first half of January through June of this year. Recent reports found that 30% surge in murders in major U.S. cities in 2020 compared to the previous year, and a 16% increase for the first half of 2021. Yeah, folks, that's gun assaults, right? +5. aggravated assaults, plus 9, were also up over the first half of 2020. Now, these are just reports. Okay, some might be accurate, some might be false. I see that they're saying that the gun assaults were plus 5 and plus 9 for the first half of 2020. Okay, first of all, we didn't have a border crisis in 2020. And the little bit of caravans of a border crisis that was going on during the Trump administration was put to ease with control of border agents. What's going on right now with the border under this administration, the Biden administration, is outrageous and it's disgusting. Folks, we are seeing weekly crime rates per, and I'll quote here, per 100,000 city residents every week. Every week, folks. Listen to the numbers. This is insanity. We have all-time crime rates in this country that are not being looked at seriously by any agency in this country, whether it's law enforcement, the FBI, or Department of Justice. But they're continuing their coronavirus vaccine bullshit, which they should be really looking at is high crime that's now being examined in 29 cities, folks. Our current study ranges from Norfolk, Virginia, the smallest city with 245,000 residents, to Los Angeles, California, the largest city in the example, with 3.97 million residents. In May, folks, of 2020, the murder rate rose sharply amongst Democratic cities. These are Democratic cities with Democrat politicians that literally didn't even care to fix the solution. Didn't even care to fix the solution. They were more worried about the George Floyd death, which, folks, don't get me wrong, it shouldn't have happened. But still people are mourning over a person that died, which happened to be a criminal. But the mainstream media won't touch on that. No, because they look at every cop, every white cop, as a killer in disguise. Literally. Not every cop is a bad guy, fellas. Not every cop is crooked. Yes, we have bad eggs in the batch, but we shouldn't look at cops, every single cop, as a bad guy. Some people don't understand what it is to even be in law enforcement. They put their lives on the line every single day to help those in need and serve their communities. Those are the real heroes. Those are the real people that deserve to wear a shield on the front of their chest. Those are the real heroes in my aspect. Let's continue. We've seen the highest amount of homicide levels during the nation when we had a spark of protest and riots. Was that explained by the radical left? No, they were just saying that we need to have justice for George Floyd. That's what was continuing. That's what the ongoing saga was all about. They politicized the hell out of the George Floyd incident. And folks, this is what they don't tell you is that the rise in homicide in the late of spring of 2020 was the emergence of mass protests right after George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis. Although the connection, if any, between the social unrest and heightened violence remains uncertain. Researchers wrote this every single day. Reporters reported on this every single day. But they blame Trump for having high surge of homicides during the first half of 2020. But did they explain that the violence and crime was coming from Democratic cities? Mainly Democratic cities. Very little in Republican-run cities. This was all done, folks, in Democratic cities. It's like, they're playing literally a political party type of card of this. We're now seeing a modern unrest between Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans are the bad guy. No, we're for the poor. We're for the working class. Since when does the Democratic Party for the working class? They can care two shits about the working class. They'd rather have people on welfare and food stamps, and that's a damn fact. You fact check that all you want. Be right back after these words. Hey guys, just got some brand new t-shirts on the storefront, Patriot Unfiltered, which is available on my social media platforms, both Instagram and Facebook. On the Instagram page, Patriot Angle Show. On Facebook, the Patriot Angle Podcast. You can see these shirts both available in women's and men's apparel. Starting today, you can get an additional 10% off, not only on these t-shirts, but the entire storefront. That's right, guys, 10% off everything on the Patriot Unfiltered shop until this Saturday, the 31st. These t-shirts, brand new t-shirts, guys, liberalism is a mental disorder. Grab them today and show your patriotic pride against that liberal. Hey guys. Thank you for tuning in today's show. I know it's a much heated show today. Got a lot of material, a lot of content I'm covering here in a very short period of time. So I do want to say thank you for your patience. Most of my shows are heated on a lot of topics, and I know we patriots, we the people, are suffering from so much hysteria, so much damage from this radical left government that truly can care two craps about us. Folks, I can't emphasize this more than enough, that this government is in it for a power trip. They always have been. Check out this clip here. I'm going to plug into the show of Joe Biden. I mean, literally saying a speech like it's coming from Spider-Man. Remember the first Spider-Man, guys? Yeah, Grandpa saying that great responsibility. Or, wait, let me go back to that. With great power comes great responsibility, right? Remember? Remember Spider-Man's grandpa would say that? Check this out, guys. This is President Joe Biden literally giving a speech about freedom. What does he know about freedom? He's taking it away. I mean, I don't understand this. What is the point of this whole vaccination? People are still getting sick, even after getting their first or maybe second dose of the vaccination. And it's proven to be true. There's people, I'm told, that are getting blood clots. They're getting fevers. They're getting headaches. You know, they're getting dry eyes. I mean, they're getting some crazy side effects from this thing. Have I taken the shot? No, and I won't take the shot. And I'll tell you why I won't take the shot. I'm not going to take a vaccination from something that we don't know what's in it. There haven't even been remotely given to the American public what is truly inside this vaccination. We weren't even told what's in this vaccination. This vaccination was like literally developed overnight in a lab somewhere. What's in this vaccination? God only knows. God only knows what's in the vaccination. And I'm not going to take the damn thing. It's my words on it. I'm not going to take it. People, the American people, is literally saying. That's my thoughts on it, folks. It's my thoughts. Hey, folks, I have a huge announcement. A lot of my listeners here on the Patriot Angle podcast, along with my loyal listeners of the Patriot Unfiltered Nation here, have been asking me, Mike, you need a store. Well, your problems have been solved. We now have a storefront. Yes, the Patriot Angle podcast, with the help of some friends and others here on the Patriot Angle podcast, have developed and created a store. Yes, you can catch that store website on my Facebook page, the Patriot Angle podcast, as well as the merchandise being uploaded on Instagram. Check us out there on our social media platform, Facebook, and you can catch all of our current merchandise along with some really good hot selling merchandise on there. Guys, you got to check it out. The prices are not that bad. If you want to support this podcast and show your patriotic pride, you got to check out the merchandise. You got to check out the store. It's phenomenal, guys. Check it out today. Patriot Unfiltered store. So check out this speech here coming from Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden literally saying this crap.
What is happening in America right now is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Let me say that again. It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. There are about 90 million Americans who are eligible to get the shot, but haven't.
Yeah. Isn't that some crap, guys? Literally crap. Crap.
Here comes the truth bomb.
In other news, Governor DeSantis, yeah, there's some good news. Not always good news, but we got some good news. In other news, Ron DeSantis of Florida is signing an executive order that protects parental rights on whether they should have their kids masked or not. He's saying that it should be left on the parental decision, not the federal or state decision. Listen to this, guys. I mean, this is awesome. Other governors and mayors should follow his lead. It should be like this. Listen to this.
So it's very, very puzzling. But one of the things that's frustrating is there's no end in sight to what these policies will do. There's no off-ramp. We were told that the off-ramp was vaccination. Now we're told that that's not going to be the case, and yet you're going to have to do masking. You may have to do restrictions and potentially other severe forms of mitigation, which we know will have a devastating impact on so many people's lives and livelihoods and freedoms. So CDC's policies, by doing this so ham-handedly, by not looking at things like this Brown study, it really shows a callous disregard for the physical, emotional, and academic well-being of our children. They need to be put first. We had this whole year and a half where so many people in our society wanted to put the kids last. They wanted to impose most of the most extreme mitigation on the kids that were the least likely to face any negative harm from this, and obviously who were in very developmental stages where this could really do a lot of potential damage. The forced masking, it has harmed students. We're going to hear from parents and students who've had a lot of difficulty with this. And so the question is, shouldn't this be something that the parent is best to evaluate, the effect that this would have on their children?
Yeah, I totally agree. Should be left up to the parents. Without a shadow of a doubt. Literally. Check out more of what he's saying. He goes into great detail, guys. You got to listen to more of what he's saying. I mean, this is... boy.
We're here. We got some great speakers and really here to discuss parents' rights, particularly with regards to the upcoming school year. If you have been listening to some of the murmurs going around, particularly in Washington lately, if you listen to some of the stuff that's being percolated around the CDC, there's a movement to try to impose more restrictions on the American people. And I just want to say in Florida, there will be no lockdowns. There will be no school closures. There will be no restrictions and no mandates in the state of Florida.
There you go. Governor Ron DeSantis stepping it up, guys. Stepping it up. Ron DeSantis is literally protecting the parental rights for their children. Should be the parents' choice, not the school choice, not the state's choice, not the local government's choice, and technically, literally, not the CDC or federal government's choice. Remember the words, folks. Your body, your choice. You have a choice on how you treat your body, not the federal government's. Now, with that being said, Ron DeSantis has put this executive order in for the entire state of Florida. That's great. Like I said, other states should follow his lead, because these masks, folks, are destroying lives. They're destroying families' lives. They're destroying kids. Kids can't even socialize because they're getting fear being orchestrated by this radical left, saying if they go to play with another child that they're going to get COVID. Then the parents hear this, and then the parents don't know what the hell to do. God, they're running around with a chicken without their heads. Like, oh boy, I gotta protect my child. The federal government's telling me I gotta make sure my kid stays inside. Like, what is that doing, folks? It's killing the child's socialization skills. It's killing that. A child is supposed to be outside playing with their buddies and friends. That's what being a kid is all about. But no, they'd rather do the fear-mongering. They'd rather orchestrate all that because that's part of their message. Folks, time to wake up. Wake up and smell the coffee. Literally. That's my closing.
You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Anchor platform.